This year, Che released his highly anticipated album, Rest in Bass. And although to some it might look like a regular Rage album, if you look at it from afar, you'll see that everything is intentionally placed. Today we're doing a deep dive on Che's Rest in Bass. Let's go. So this whole entire rollout starts off on February 8th. Che changes his subname on Instagram to Rest in Bass and also tweets out Rest in Bass. This is the first announcement we get and the first hint we get at the upcoming album. Next, on February 12th, we get an official Rest in Bass trailer. So this trailer is, plays like studio clips, and it plays an insane snippet. This snippet goes crazy on all social medias. So in this trailer, we get our first look of the Rest in Bass logo. So this is a really early logo. This logo right here has the eye as a speaker, and this is a really early logo, as you can see right here. And this is one of the only times that we see this logo. So yeah, this is our first look at the Rest in Bass trailer and the Rest in Bass logo. So this brings us to our first point in this album rollout, which are the trailers. Now this might be one of my favorite parts of this whole entire rollout because we get a lot of footage, a lot of trailers, and a lot of creativity. And then next, on May 14, 2025, we get the first Hellraiser snippet. Now at this point, we don't know that Osama-san is on this. It's just a snippet at this point, but we get some really nice visuals to go along with it. Next, we get our first Rest in Bass visual trailer. Now Che posts this, and so these trailers will become a staple for this entire rollout. This is our first trailer right here, and we get a glimpse of just the whole aesthetic that he's going for. And we're gonna explain this later on, but this is the first visual trailer that kind of sets the mood for Rest in Bass. So Rest in Bass visual trailer 2 has a crazy snippet once again. Now trailer number 2 is special because while we get more crazy aesthetic visuals, we also get a snippet. Now this isn't really a snippet, I would say this is actually just the Lemon Glow song. We come to find out later that Che is actually sampling Lemon Glow, the song, and this snippet goes insane all over social media. And this is why trailer number 2 is special, and this one is to release on May 29, 2025. Next, on June 9th, we get the Tech Deck snippet. This snippet again goes insanely crazy. And while this is all happening, I gotta mention that Che has a fan base that is really creative, and they basically did the rollout for him in a way as well. So I can say right now that Che has one of the most creative fan bases, hands down. Like, they were taking snippets and making crazy visuals and crazy edits out of them. Shout out to you if you made any some sort of creative thing like this fan base is one of the most creative. So on June 23rd, we get Rest in Bass trailer 3, some more nice aesthetic visuals. So on June 26th, we actually get a message straight from Che.
I'm here to tell you that Rest in Bass will be officially releasing in July. I'll be dropping some of the artwork and the music on this page until then.
So yeah, this is a really cryptic video, him just coming out and saying that the album is not dropping this week and it's dropping next month. And it shows something burning, and it's keeping the aesthetic, but fans were like, all right, what are you even trying to do right now? This is just weird. So July 14th is a pretty big date. We get 3 trailers in one day. We get Rest in Bass trailer 4, 5, and 6. Now all these are really nice visuals. It ties the whole aesthetic together. Official trailer 4, we get a Hood Famous snippet. On July 15th, we get Hellraiser with Osama-san paired with some nice visuals and the official release. So in my opinion, this is my favorite section of this entire rollout, is the trailers, because I really like visuals and I really like this aesthetic that he was going for. And he did change it up a little bit because I do remember that there were some concert visuals for Rest in Bass. They were kind of going for that hippie, those pizza time type of visuals. I really like that aesthetic, those hippie visuals, those tie-dye visuals with the peace sign, and these trailers really got the hype going for this album. So now let's talk about the use of colors in Rest in Bass. So as you can see right here, we have purple and black. So what does this represent? For me, this represented royalty, death, afterlife, and it's really present in every major artwork that we see that comes out. In a lot of the trailer works, we see the dominant purple and black colors, we see the gray, we see the analog colors. I really like that. And these are some other colors that were used throughout the rollout. As you can see, his grills, the neon green, you can also see with his car, his R8 I think. We also see the use of contacts, which we'll talk about later. but these colors right here are the main colors for this whole entire aesthetic. Now the cover arts are a major theme that plays throughout this whole aesthetic. So we have multiple covers for Rest in Bass, and some of them are unofficial, some of them are official, but we're gonna be going through all of them. So first we got this really nice airbrush cover right here. This one kind of resembles like Bass God. He kind of has those speaker towers with the cross. He has some wings. This one's really nice. I like this one with the airbrush. And then next we have this really dark cover art, which is him in water with those black contacts again. We have some drawings, and some of these might not be official, but these still are really good artwork, so I'm putting them in here just to show you guys that even if these aren't official, these artworks are still insane. So this next cover art first dropped on Twitter, and obviously you can't see it because YouTube is going to demonetize, so I can't show this artwork on YouTube, but you can literally look it up. Next we move on to release day, which we get this cover art right here, which is Che sitting in a chair, smoking, party going on around him. Really nice cover. So when they finally pulled that artwork, they replaced it with the official cover art for Rest in Bass, and we get this really nice airbrush cover. This artwork is really nice. It reminds me of those old mixtapes. And what surprised me about this cover art was not only the airbrush. I don't see this often. I really like this whole airbrush aesthetic. But what I didn't realize in release night was that this was actually inspired by Trippie Redd's A Love Letter to You album. But now that I'm looking at these two, there is some inspiration, but honestly, I'm gonna have to go with Che. So now moving on to logos. So the earliest logo we can see was this merch design right here for Rest in Bass. So as you can see right here, we can see an early version of the Rest in Bass logo with a speaker to replace the eye. This for me was really cool. I really like this one, and we can also see this in the Rest in Bass official album trailer. And then we get to the official Rest in Bass logo, which is right here. We get this nice RIB, and the R is inverted, and we get this plus sign. I think this is really nice. It's really plain and simple, but it gets the job done, like you can see. Now moving on to one of my other favorite segments of this whole entire album, which is the merch. So Rest in Bass had one main merch drop, and this included hoodies, shirts, sweatshirts, but let's take a look at this. So we got the ear pods, the headphones, and these dropped and like sold out immediately. But if you got these, let me know, I'll buy them off you. So now that we talked about the overall rollout, let's talk about the overall aesthetic of this album. So at its core, what I took away from this whole aesthetic was analog horror mixed with religion and broken tech. So analog horror, that kind of comes from, we're taking away some aspects from more chaos, kind of that gory type of stuff, but there wasn't much gore with this whole aesthetic. It was more of horror. It was really a lot of VHS liminal spaces, and we also mixed in some religious type of stuff, you know, some nuns. We had Bloody Mary in there. We had a lot of different things mixing religion. We had a lot of crosses. The main logo has a cross on it. And one last thing that I noticed was broken technology. A lot of graffiti. I really like the use of graffiti in this entire project. One trailer consisted of just a wall that said Rest in Bass on it, full of graffiti, and I really like that. We even see some burning crosses and a lot of symbolism towards religion. All right, we see a lot of film aesthetics. We see a lot of distorted analog videos and cold color palettes, okay? And if you're watching this and thinking you have tons of creative ideas exactly like this, but maybe you don't have a team or you just don't know where to start, this is where me and my team come to play. We will help you execute all your creative ideas start to finish. I have the best cover artists, best visual artists, best producers, anything you need visually, creatively, sound-wise, I'm here to help you. You bring your ideas and vision, and we will bring everything to life. Link down below. Now moving on to the overall sound of Rest in Bass. The thing that stood out to me was the frequent beat switches. Many tracks don't stick to one beat. They also shift key, tempo, and creating a whole different vibe of a new song. Album is called Rest in Bass, so when you have an album named that, you need to have some crazy beats and you need to have some crazy bass, and this did not disappoint. So for melody manipulation, this plays a big role in this overall sound of Rest in Bass. If you want to replicate this type of sound like Rest in Bass that these producers use, these are some plugins that I would recommend: Effectrix, Effects Motions, Infiltrator, Portal, Thermal, Distortion, and Coalfire, okay? So now since we're on the topic of the overall sound of Rest in Bass, I'm going to show you how to replicate it in FL Studio. So the main layer we have here is the serum preset, and this is the main melody. Second layer, and we're adding this effect right here called rift. Now this is the last layer right here. Again, that sounds boring, that sounds dated. What we're gonna add to this is Portal, and now it's gonna sound like this. Now it sounds more exciting, it has multiple layers. Let's hear it all together. The next thing that will make or break your beat is the drums. All right, you need to have excellent top tier drums. Whoa! Come on, bro. Like I said, sound selection is key. We only have 3 layers and a simple drum pattern. Let me know if you guys like these videos of the overall package and aesthetic. We covered everything: colors, sound, cover arts, visuals. Everything you could have wanted with this album, I covered it. And if I didn't, let me know in the comments what I missed so I can make sure to put it going forward. Let me know who I should do next and what album I should cover next.